Welcome back again to the Outer Dimensions podcast. You are joining Dave and Dre as we discuss the latest and greatest going on in the movie world, past, present, and sometimes the future. We pop through the different dimensions in this week. Dre, what are we talking about?
Probably, if not one of my favorite superheroes, right after Spider-Man, if not tied with Spider-Man for number one. He is none other than the Batman. My favorite superhero, probably since I want to say a little kid. Obviously, the classic cartoon, Batman and the Super Friends. But we're not talking about the actual animated series. We're not talking about the greatest run in a cartoon next to The Simpsons that won Emmys and came close to Oscar nominations.
Are we talking about Batman the Animated Series?
Yes, because that is the longest running animated series next to The Simpsons that got and won a Tony Award. Not Tony, because Tony's Broadway. It won an Emmy. The Emmy Awards. And I thought
it was close to getting a Peabody at one point, but I could be
mistaken. It was close to getting the Peabody as well. It is one of those few series that did so well that wrote canon. And what we'll say is obviously R.I.P. this episode. R.I.P. to Arlene Sorkin, the original voice actress for Harley Quinn. She will be sadly missed.
And she was also a comedian too.
Yes,
back in the day as well.
She was 67 years young. So I know the community mourns her loss, and we all do. I know people are like worried about Mark Hamill. Let's just keep.
There's a number of actors from Batman the Animated Series who, they're up in the age. Donald was it? Yeah, I want to say Donald Glover. He was Lionel Luthor in Smallville. He was also the voice of the Riddler in Batman the Animated Series. So there's a lot of actors. Richard Mall. There's a lot of people who are there. There are certain age up there. Speaking of certain ages, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, the shark of the YouTubes, Blue Sasquatch. Yes, we are live, Blue. Thanks for
what up, Blue.
In. He says, "I'm Batman."
All right, so. Just like we did with Spider-Man, just like we did with Superman, let me run you guys down the criteria of how this goes. So we rank them in date order, and they have an age of when they became Batman, as well as donned the suit for Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Their highest grossing film. Now, ironically enough, Dave and I, when we sat and discussed this, we were like, should we do all the live action ones? Because I was like, we have Titans had a Bruce Wayne and a Batman. We got a, we had
Kevin Conroy did a one-off appearance as a retired.
Yeah, he did the Crisis on Infinite Worlds Batman.
So
we had to say no to those because
they
didn't have a major motion picture. And I felt like that's a criteria that if we could put on a graph and to do statistics, we can plot where and who.
Arguments could have been made for Bruce Wayne from Gotham.
No, I would not call that show.
No. I stated there could have been arguments made for it. Didn't say that they would have won, but there would have been arguments made. Okay.
So, yes, and now we're going to start. Now we start from, obviously, the first in 1967, and then we're going to go all the way up to the present. So, obviously, Adam West, may he rest in peace.
We to be completely honest and full disclosure, we did not include the Batman serials of the 40s and 50s. There were a few loose ones. But no one, honestly, I don't think anyone in our audience could even recall seeing them.
I never saw them.
But they are in existence out there. They weren't they were mostly 40s, and the bat suits were, you can imagine how the writing would have been. So that's why we went. We started with more maybe Golden Age.
Yeah, I would say. Well, the serials would be considered golden age. This would be
Yeah.
he would be he'd almost be silver age, because silver age is the late 60s to the early 80s.
Yeah. And this
And
was
modern
he was definitely a little bit more lighthearted too.
Yeah. I think Adam West was by far, to many, consider Adam West to be the titular comic book inspired Batman. Like, he is the Batman that I know Baz Luhrmann, the guy who did
Luhrmann. Yep.
yeah, but he's the one who kind of modeled his Kilmer and his Clooney Batmans after this one, and a lot of people did not like that. So, for obvious reasons.
I mean, this Bruce Wayne and this Batman were definitely the inspiration for the animated, well, not the animated series, but the cartoon appearances of Batman, through the 70s and the 80s.
So, folks, if you guys didn't know, I didn't include, now, when I looked at highest grossing movies, ironically enough, I had the opportunity to actually put in Scooby-Doo and Batman from the early 2000s. There was movies in the 80s. They had Phyllis Diller on the TV show, but they also did a movie with her. For those of our audience that are above the age of 35, you know who Phyllis Diller is. And if you don't, there's Wikipedia. And
YouTube.
And YouTube. And
you can find her on old episodes of Hollywood Squares.
Oh, yeah. It was hilarious. She was saucy. She was a great comedian.
She was a trip.
So obviously this Batman, his film was the original TV pilot. It was a 2-hour movie that I remember talking to Dave about it off camera a few weeks ago, that I had seen this movie in the 5th grade. So we're putting me back in elementary school
all the time in grade school.
Yeah, because it's got no cussing. The violence
it was the 60s. I mean, come on. I mean, the only thing that might have been questionable is like mini skirts. I mean, really back then, I mean, even the fighting, you would get like the big comic book, pow, bang, boom, you get the little, it meant to be an exaggeration or an expanded variation of comics from back then. The premise was basically the Joker, Penguin, Catwoman kind of team up together, and Riddler.
And that was not the Eartha Kitt. That was not Eartha Kitt. No. Eartha Kitt one. That was the.
That was our first. That was our first Catwoman.
Yeah, let me see Batman movie.
Come on, you should know who she is.
Why am I blanking on her name? Lee Merriweather.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'm sorry. It was the original. So you're looking at the original cast. It would have been Catwoman as Lee Merriweather, Cesar Romero as the Joker, obviously Frank Gorshin as the Riddler, Burgess Meredith as Penguin, and Alan Napier as
Alfred,
as your boy Alfred, and then Burt Ward and Adam West as the titular Batman and Robin. Now they did have other characters in there, but I think those are the immediate remembrances.
I have to correct you. Catwoman in that movie was Julie Newmar.
That was Julie. It says right here. It was Lee Merriweather.
Do you want me to
no, I believe you. I believe you. I'm not going to argue. It just said that Lee Merriweather was it. I was going to say it should have been Julie Newmar because I think she was the original. But that could have been for the TV part. The TV pilot.
Newmar was the first one. Yes.
All right. So obviously, for those of you that don't know, there was a switch over from Julie Newmar to Eartha Kitt, and that was a major thing in television because at the time, Eartha Kitt was the only other black woman that was on television because Nichelle Nichols was the only other black woman, and she was on CBS, where this was on, if I'm not mistaken, ABC Network.
And for all you youngins that might be watching or listening to us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, Eartha Kitt, you might know her best from the Emperor's Groove.
Yzma.
Yep. So you guys will probably know her from there.
And she also did her voice of Catwoman in the last animated film.
Yep.
Where Burt Ward voiced himself and Adam West voiced. It was the last role he did before he died.
And it had Shatner in there too.
Yep. And Shatner was, I forgot what he was.
He was Two-Face.
Yes, he was. Good job.
Harvey Dent. But the premise was basically the bad guys get together and they're trying to attack, basically take hold the world hostage by they basically dehydrates the world leaders at the United Nations, and they're trying to take out Batman and Bruce Wayne, and just it's all kinds of campy craziness. It's fun. I mean, take a look at the picture here of Adam West. There was no bodysuit. That was all West. That was all West, baby. So I mean, back then, we didn't have bodysuits. We didn't have like muscle padding that they could put in suits. That was all him. So, and he was, even look at him outside of suit. He was he was your debonair. You know, he was our kind of like
Comb-over.
Bonds.
We had the comb. We had
the comb over.
We had the rich man comb over, cowlick, as my wife makes the joke.
And we didn't have a voice change. A lot of times we got Clark Kent is kind of the clumsy kind of guy, and then when he's Superman, he's talking like this. He's very, very reassuring. This is a Batman where we don't get like a dark voice. We don't get I mean, if you spoke to Batman on the phone and then spoke to Bruce Wayne, Commissioner Gordon, you are an idiot. And Captain oh god, what was the captain's name? I'm blanking on the captain's name. They would speak to Bruce Wayne, and they would also speak to Batman, and they couldn't tell the difference over the phone. Like, seriously, come on.
Yeah, there was a lot of funny moments. Now, what's interesting is let's talk about his highest grossing film. So for 1966, I couldn't find anywhere where the budget was for this. But I mean, you had big names in it. You had Burgess Meredith, Cesar Romero. These guys were all already burgeoning TV artists. So they had already been in Broadway and off Broadway as well as other films.
Burgess Meredith, you guys would know him. Most of you guys would know him from the Rocky movies as Mickey.
Yeah.
Come on, Rock. Come on.
Come on, you dumb son of a bitch. Do it because Mickey loves you.
I mean, we had people like Frank Gorshin. He's appeared in so many movies as bad guys, and just he was a fantastic Riddler. You would have thought that he would have been like a runner-up to be Joker. That's how he played the Riddler. Like, he was always laughing and being kind of crazy, and
he was perfect.
And Cesar Romero, I mean, the guy was debonair, and then he puts on the Joker makeup and he kills it as a Joker.
That laugh was iconic. I mean, it's as close to Mark Hamill's laugh that I think of, and Heath Ledger, and
and a lot of people were surprised to see how he looked outside of that makeup. They didn't know that, other than if you saw his name in the credits, you wouldn't know that he was a person of Latin heritage, of Hispanic heritage right there.
Yeah, he was one of the first next to Eric Estrada and other actors that were on TV at the time. So that was a big.
That was before Eric Estrada. So
he kind of paved the way. And mind you, Dave and I do have one coming up that is we have another mini series set to come out. I'm probably going to set it for next year, but we do have who's the best Joker, who's the best Punisher, and we have yet to figure out another hero. But if you guys want to suggest one, again, hit us up at Twitter at the Outer Dim Pod. Hit us up on Instagram at the Outer Dimensions Podcast, and just give us your suggestions or comment here below this video what you guys would like to see us do other best of.
I have to say hello to Volcano 111 popping through the stream. Thanks for popping through.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can also you can always email us at the Outer Dimensions Podcast at gmail.com as well.
So let me continue on. So this movie grossed at $4 million US in 1966. So when I go to my conversion calculator to take what that would be now, roughly $38 million. So you're looking at about 9.5 times of what it's worth to now.
And that was a big deal back then.
Yeah, because you have to look at Spider-Man grossed $3.09 million then, which came out to like 16.5 million now. So when you start looking at like the time periods of when the movies are coming out, what they were coming out to, like that this is no like small feat. And there were other posters done for this movie in Japan, in Korea, in India. This movie did have world renown. Now, sadly, we lost him in 2017. His last role was a film that was an animated film that he was in, and Dave and I just talked about it a little while ago before we came on stream. So he did this one I think it was in 2017, the year then he passed away.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. A trend, as you guys know, I like my numbers and I like to crunch my numbers. So one of the things I noticed is that Bruce Wayne is usually around 30 to 45 years old, depicted in the films. Depending on which Batman we look at,
yes,
you will notice the age shifts. And there is a contention for the youngest Batman between two of the actors. And it's real interesting to see who those actors are. So,
and of course, you guys will see that a little bit later.
Exactly. So, obviously, to many people, he was the Batman. But I think let's go to the next slide. And Dave would agree with me 100% that this is, to many, your Connery Bond, your Christopher Reeves Superman.
I mean, when you hear someone mention the word Batman,
this
is who you think of, okay?
And it's our boy Michael Keaton.
Now, ironically, okay, take a look at here. He was 38 years of age, the same age as Adam West.
Mm-hmm.
And I still find this hard to believe that he's 71 years old now.
Yep, he was 70 when they filmed, and he was 71 when they released The Flash.
And he was not without controversy when he was tapped to play him.
Oh yeah,
because I mean, he was known for playing Mr. Mom. He was in Gung Ho. He's
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice was that? I want to say after.
Beetlejuice was 2 years after that. It was in between 89 and 92. That's when he did Beetlejuice.
I mean, like he did stuff like like I said, Mr. Mom, Gung Ho. I mean, well, that was years later. Multiplicity was years later. Johnny Dangerously. There's a whole host of movies that he did, but he was known as a comedic actor. And then wait a minute, you're having Mr. Mom play Batman, and nobody thought he could do it, but he frigging killed it. I mean, he killed it so much that, I mean, it's not even funny. I mean, he redefines this movie itself. Tim Burton, Michael Keaton, they redefined the superhero genre, because mind you, in the 80s we had a few like one-offs or movies that were trying to be a superhero movie. The only really successful ones were really the Superman franchise, but after the second Superman movie, Superman 3 and Superman 4 kind of tanked. I mean, during the 80s, it was mostly like Indiana Jones. The Star Wars movies were like the big ones. And then we started seeing more of the action genre kind of take over. And so I think for the most part, superhero movies were kind of lost until we had, we go from Adam West with the two-tone blue. And then we get this solid black suit where the only color you see is gold around the crest of the bat emblem and his gold color utility belt. He's got this totally blacked out Batmobile that is just something out of somebody's twisted dreams. And I mean, this also revitalized the Batman franchise, because we got Batman the Animated Series, which was heavily influenced on this. And also like a 30s, 40s kind of noir kind of vibe going on. I mean, but he wasn't. Now take a look at him. I mean, he wasn't like super debonair, like Sean Connery as Bond kind of look. He kind of looked like an average kind of guy. And I mean, he was, he wasn't the Bruce Wayne that is like spending money left and right and doesn't care what people think. Like he was a bit more down to earth, and I really loved how Keaton played him.
Yeah,
Like,
he played a Bruce
redefined
Wayne.
him.
He played a Bruce Wayne that was troubled,
Vulnerable.
vulnerable, and not trusting, but he did it in a way where he was extremely smart, self-reliant, really relied on just Alfred, which I loved. I absolutely loved that he relied on
Yes.
Alfred, and but I
And
want to
that
talk.
and
Go
that
ahead.
Alfred lasted several Batman.
Yeah, until he passed away. So R.I.P. But let's crunch some numbers. So obviously, Dave and I joked about this. We remember being kids going to see this movie. I did not go
I
see
had
this
the
in.
Batman trading cards that had like the stickers for the book, man. I mean, I that's we used to go to Tops Friendly Markets, and whatever money I saved up, I was buying the packets, the little like the
With the bubble
Tops
gum.
Flair,
Yep.
I was always buying those the Batman trading cards, which had like they would have some Joker cards in there too, and just
It was those are great. I used to love getting that, and then I remember going to the Batman museum, a comic book museum in upstate New York, and then my dad bought me the Batwing, so I actually got the movie Batwing with the suction cups that you shot out of it. But let's talk numbers. So in 1989, this film, obviously, which is Batman '89, as we all know it, the
yes,
original. To many, the original, but we all know Adam West was the original in '66. But the Batman that set the franchise on fire was $411.6 million. Now this is 1989, folks.
89.
We're not looking at the 90s numbers. We are looking
Yep.
at numbers that were unheard of. This was like Star Wars level numbers.
Were you able to find the original budget by chance?
I can, and I'll pull it up
Okay.
right now. I'll pull it up right now because I actually
Because I
saved
mean,
it.
it's amazing that they grossed 411.6 million. But I'm kind of curious, like, what was the budget? Because I mean, they of
You want
course
to know?
it was all practical effects. Yes,
All right, so let me do the conversion first, so I can do the conversion.
the conversion is just nuts.
Okay, when I tell you the conversion, you're gonna die laughing. All right, so the budget for this film was $48 million. 48 million. So let's do my little budget calculator here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right. So the budget then was 48. In 2023, that budget would be the equivalent of $118.6 million.
Okay, that's I want to say that's pretty reasonable
That's
actually.
that with the cast of characters that are in this movie, I would agree. Now, as you see on the cheat sheet, it clearly shows that this is not million, folks.
No,
In today's money, this would be
come on, pinkies up.
$1.015 billion.
There we go.
Billion. That rivals numbers for when you look at movies of all time. That rivals Avatar, the very first Avatar from 2008. That rivals Jurassic Park
Yes.
from 92. That rivals Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and even rivals movies like Spider-Man.
Now, I think we should be clear. We're talking about the 1989 Batman film itself, not the series of
No, the
films.
film.
This is just the 1989 Batman film itself, guys. Okay?
Now again, we also
Let that sink in. Just one film.
exactly. There's this one film, which of course everybody knows that when I do these, I have to aggregate 3 different sets of numbers. So I looked at 89, which is the one is the first one. The sequel, Batman Returns, which was 92, and then sadly I had to look at 2023 for the Flash. Really, Batman came back to help Batman came to lead a team. That's what I'm gonna call that movie. And technically, he was also in he's in a deleted scene with Ben Affleck in Aquaman, but they didn't. That movie hasn't come out yet, so I can't do a budget for that one. but I could look at the budget for the Flash. This movie outdid Flash, and it outdid 92, not by much. I think it was like $100 million.
Excuse me. What Flash are you talking about? Are you talking about Batman and Supergirl? Because I saw that movie. I didn't see the Flash. I saw Batman and Supergirl.
You saw Batman and Supergirl. Yeah, that movie. That's
Batman and Supergirl meets two douchebags. That's what I saw.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, sadly.
And that is the opinion of Dave of the Outer Dimensions podcast. But those opinions do not reflect the entire podcast itself.
Exactly. Well, it reflects mine too because I agree with him 100%. So, but yeah, again, currently, obviously, he is 71 years old. He is tapped. Obviously, with what's going on with SAG, we don't have exact. Everything's rumored right now or in developmental hell. He is slated to be in another movie, possibly another Batman movie. And it is possible if they do release this, and Lord willing, I have my fingers crossed.
Batgirl.
If Max releases Batgirl,
it's sitting on the shelf. All they have to do
he's in it.
Post. They just that all they have to do is take that off the shelf, do the editing, and I mean, at least that way, Warner Brothers, Warner Discovery, whatever the frack you want to call them,
Warner Discovery Plus.
There'll be a plus when I give them my approval. But and with the SAG after the writer's strike, the actor's strike, they have a movie sitting on the shelf. Spend the money, put it out there. We want to see it. We will see anything with him as Batman,
and he has
even
a very prominent role.
A little bit.
And just so for you all to know, it is a prominent role in that movie. Like it's not like. This is not like he was in the Batman Supergirl movie that we just watched. It was something a lot more prominent. Yes. So it's rumor. Now he obviously, again, like Dave said, he was 38 years old when they got him for the role. He's 70. He's 71 now. So tap him while he's still young.
And honestly, I mean, if you look at Keaton now, he still looks pretty damn good. I mean, he was in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yes, as the Vulture, and he was in his late
60s at the time. Yeah. I mean, hey, don't sleep on things. I mean, it's, he can still pull off. Plus, let's be honest, he's the perfect age for a certain movie that I've been wanting for friggin' years, people.
That's the other tap. That's the other rumor tap that they've been pushing. Several studios have kind of been blowing off the dust off the scripts.
I'm saying it needs to happen. Anyone who is a comic book or even a cartoon fan of Batman, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Terry McGinnis, old Bruce Wayne, Batman Beyond. We need that.
And we got
Keaton
the taste.
Is prime. I mean, he's in hell. He's in better shape than Bruce Wayne was in the cartoon. I mean,
honestly, if he was alive today, Kevin Conroy would have probably been the one we all would have loved to be in the movie, to be Bruce Wayne, because he was the age, he had the voice.
I mean, he didn't exactly have the Batman build, but I mean, he could still that they could. They could.
But I think Dave is 100%. If we need someone to be in the bat suit, so let's move on to our next Batman. Obviously, like I said, but this is everybody's kid growing up Batman. So let's move to our next one.
Still my Batman. What are you talking about?
He is mine. I mean, like I got his figure sitting over here.
and then there's
all right.
This one.
Let's as a teacher, I have to recap what we said before. So remember, I said Baz Luhrmann, who is notorious for pardon my French, for fucking up superhero movies. He has put his hands in several of them. Volcano, that's what Rolando does. He's one of our mods. He links. He likes to share out with everybody. He just likes to share everybody's links.
He likes to grab people's links and help everybody grow. That's all.
Yeah, it's nothing bad. Don't worry about it. So Baz Luhrmann has screwed up, and like I said, pardon my French, fucked up many a good superhero movie. Batman took a turn for the worse. Now, some of the best toys came out from these movies, but the franchise and some of the best stuff you'd see at a McDonald's or Burger King came out from these movies.
I wish I still had those
Batman.
glass mugs. Okay.
Yes, I do. I wish I did too. I think if my aunt still has them wrapped up in her garage from my mom's old house, my mom had a full set of the ones from Burger King.
Oh yeah, my
And those
sister
are
was
worth those
working.
are worth money
My sister was working at Burger King, so we had a couple of those sets.
because those are the shit.
Man.
So now, obviously, we're going to come into a time where we only get one actor for the Batman role, and it's going to shift a couple of times here.
Oh
So,
yes.
Kilmer, who was doing other action films and other kind of more serious. Kilmer was a comedic actor.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing comedies around this time, like Hot Shots, but yeah. I mean, he did stuff. Back in the 80s, he did a movie called Top Secret, which was not well received. Which was
Top Secret was hilarious. If you are a fan of the slapstick comedy biopic, that is the movie to watch because it is what inspired the Hot Shots.
But series. Like movies like Real Genius,
Top
and then
Gun.
Later Braveheart, or not Braveheart, but what was it? He was Lionheart. Lionhearted, was it?
I forgot what it was.
He was an FBI agent, and there was some crimes, some murders or something. He had to uncover it on a Native American reservation. I'm trying to think of it.
He also did Salt and Sea. He did.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing a lot of stuff. The Saint.
Yeah. The Saint, which is like kind of which was a serial of a James Bond character style thing. I mean, great stuff.
Shoe.
Oh yeah, she was great in that movie. Now, obviously, his film was really well received. It was only 3 years after we had lost Keaton to do other work, and he was now the first younger Bruce Wayne. But again, people felt
only by 2 years.
Yeah, he was only by 2 years, so it's not really much of a difference. And he's 63 years old now. His last feature film he did was Top Gun Maverick, where he was his character Iceman.
They did a lot of
CGI.
Yeah, CGI with him, because those that don't know, he's actually suffering from a form of throat cancer.
Yeah, and he had hypothyroid, and he had hypothyroidism as well.
Yeah.
So that was the other thing too.
Now, let me ask you, how did you feel about his Bruce Wayne? I want to know your thoughts first before I get mine.
So I don't like his Bruce Wayne because I didn't like the world that he was. I liked the world, like the villains, more than I liked him, because Riddler.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey's Riddler, to me, is second on the list of my favorite Bat villains, right underneath Ledger's Joker. I mean, because there's the line.
I can definitely agree with you there, because I mean, Jim Carrey back then was just,
he was on fire. Mean, the Mask, he was in living color.
The only person who could have done as great or even better was the person that they passed on. Robin Williams, because Robin Williams was about to be tapped to play Riddler.
Also was tapped, but that was if Tim Burton had kept on with the franchise. So because Tim Burton left and Baz Luhrmann picked it up, it went a very different route. and Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones did a great job in their villains. But I think, like I said, for knowledge,
Tommy Lee was having fun with it. But to me, Val Kilmer was a little too dimensional as far as Bruce Wayne. He was he was playing Bruce Wayne as more methodical, more.
No, he played the detective. He played the true detective style Batman. He played it a little
too much. Like, I didn't get. See, one thing that we know. Anyone who's ever read the comics, anyone who's grown up with Batman, one of the reasons why he does this is the tragedy of losing his parents so young. Of wanting to never have anyone have to go through what he did. And that was to fuel the fire for him. I don't get that from him, from his betrayal. I don't get like any kind of anger, any kind of hatred, any kind of frustration. It's like he's almost like a robot, almost like an android, so to speak.
Yeah, he had that fear. They showed like that little bit of fear in him like with the bats, like when he was seeing
Yeah,
the
I
bat
mean,
fly at him. But
and
like they didn't go into
you get
that.
Nicole Kidman in here as Chase Meridian,
The
the
new Vicky Vale.
yeah the new love interest who happens to be a psychologist, and it kind of falls flat, and it's I don't know it's there's a lot missing from his portrayal. I mean, his Batman was kind of because you have to look at it. He's playing Bruce Wayne, but he's also playing Batman. He's playing two characters there, or at least they're supposed to be perceived as two separate characters. And even as Batman, I don't know, he feels a bit lacking, in my opinion. And that's just my personal opinion.
It's not, you're not wrong. There was a lot wrong with this whole thing. And sadly, it grossed a lot of money for the mid 90s, $335 million. I mean, mind you, Jurassic Park, I think, was, to be very frank, Jurassic Park 1 grossed the most money in a movie for literally 30 years. It wasn't
It
till
was
the
a
early.
Spielberg movie, let's be honest.
Well, yes, but to be very honest, no movie until the new Disney Marvel Lucas franchise, which is all under Disney, came out 30 years later that we saw a usurping of the numbers for a film like that. So that's just to give you the basic kind of gist of it. He's 63 years old. Again, he's fighting.
Yeah.
In reality, he's fighting major health illnesses, and
Health issues and family issues, trying to stay connected with his one daughter who literally lives next door to him. So he's trying to mend fences and everything. So, but one thing I will say this. Michael Keaton, I want to backpedal a little bit if you don't mind, Dre.
go ahead.
Michael Keaton's Batman was fully fleshed out. He had that balance. He had that seriousness, that trying to distance himself. Like in the first film he did, he tells Vicky that he's going to be out of town, but is really so he can drop the flowers, the roses off where his parents were killed. And we see that seriousness, that we see that loss that really fuels him. Like, you see like the essence of Batman, the essence of Bruce Wayne. I mean, we even get Bruce Wayne cracking a few jokes, going up against the Joker saying, "Hey, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." Or you get when he's in was it the second Batman movie when he gets the audio recording of Danny DeVito, the Penguin, and he actually does a little DJ little scratch thing. I mean, we had a good balance with him because Batman could be a little lighthearted at times, but that's the thing. We didn't get that with Val Kilmer, and I don't necessarily want to blame Val Kilmer for it. I want to blame the writing.
Again, this is
the writing. I want to blame was it Joel Schumacher, who was the guy kind of like being. He's the one I kind of blame for forcing the Batman franchise down the hole that it went. He's the one I really blame. Because an actor can only do what's in the script or what direction they're being given. And like you said, Baz Luhrmann, he can direct it and write his ass off with a musical, the Showman or Elvis. He can do a lot of great stuff, but when it comes to superheroes, Baz, take a step back, bro. Just step back.
Now, for those of you that are curious, just to give you guys a heads up, Tim Burton actually signed off on this movie. He was a producer. Yeah. He has a producer credit in Batman Forever. So just to kind of give you guys that level of understanding that he did actually, you have Schumacher directed it. You have Tim Burton producing it.
See, I always wondered about that, but part of me kind of resolved it as maybe it was part of a contractual thing, even though Burton wasn't, like if he agreed to sign off on it, it was kind of like finishing out a contract, or it was the final payday to an original Batman agreement that he had. That's kind of how I viewed it. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's just my takeaway I got from that,
Like I said, I agree with you. Wait till we get to the next one. Wait till they get a load of me. So
Are we
let's.
ready?
I hate to be ready.
We
Wait,
get ER Batman.
no. I'm gonna say this for what it is. Whenever I think of George Clooney Batman, I think of bat nipples. I can't think of anything else
No.
because
I
the
mean,
suit
he's got a
ruined me.
few. He's got some jokes in here. You know, like when because
Holy rusted metal Batman.
no, that's Chris O'Donnell,
That's Chris O'Donnell, and that
and
was
we get Chris O'Donnell. We get him with Val Kilmer
yes,
because he's already established with George Clooney. But I mean, George Clooney kind of was. He was a good Bruce Wayne.
terrible Batman.
A terrible Batman, good Bruce Wayne, because like him and Dick are Chris O'Donnell, Robin, they're arguing at the house, and he's like no, Dick, and obviously he's trying to be an ass when he says that. I mean, he's got a few good lines, but also in George Clooney's Batman, which was Batman and Robin. And eventually we do get an Alicia Silverstone Batgirl without a cowl, just a mask, whatever. I mean, it had its pluses and minuses. We got Arnold as Mr. Freeze, which was a very unique casting choice.
Wait, pause. You gotta before you continue. They retconned Batgirl's story for this movie. Batgirl is not the daughter of Gordon, which is completely canon. That is canon. Canon event. It screams canon event. But yes. No, they changed that to she's Alfred's niece.
Yes.
Why? Okay. here's my rant because Dave's gonna continue on. But I got to rant on this because it grinds my gears. Why the fuck would you change the story to something that was canon? It does not make sense. She was introduced in this movie. It was one of the selling points of the movie. I was like, oh wow. I remember college me was like, ooh, sophomore. I want to go see Alicia Silverstone. I loved her and she's hot. Let's go see this. Uma Thurman. She's real hot. And then what happens? I find out that's his
guys. Trey is suffering from, let's say it together, emotional damage.
This movie now, Grant. Now wait. I want to cover some things again because I like that. You guys know I love this. That's crunching numbers. You guys I love giving statistics. So Joel Schumacher once again, 2 years later. Now we don't get produced by the production company. There is no production credit. Warner Brothers. And why do I say Warner Brothers? Is because the franchise had taken a dip and it needed to be revitalized. And in Batman Forever and in Batman and Robin, this was their attempt to throw Warner Brothers logo feces all over the films. Meaning anything that was an IP under Warner Brothers, you found it. In Batman Forever, we saw Daffy Duck. We saw Bugs Bunny. Did you think that was going to end in this movie? No, because it continued in this movie. The only thing salvaged from Batman Forever that carried over with Schumacher.
There was an American Express joke in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a bidding war that's happening. And what happens? George Clooney's Batman pulls out a black American Express card.
With a Batman insignia inside of it.
Never leave the Batcave without it. I mean, they did everything in here. And like you said, the Batman franchise was on life support. So who did they get? They get Doug Ross from ER, George Clooney, and even Clooney couldn't save this.
Now, sadly,
I mean,
they brought him back.
They brought him back. I mean, the whole Alicia Silverstone, Alfred's niece. Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch, but they also needed to have family for Alfred because Alfred was suffering from McGregor syndrome. He was dying, and that's where Clooney's.
He died shortly after this movie too.
In real life, yes.
In real life, yes.
But Clooney's Clooney's Bruce Wayne. This is where Clooney actually does some positive work in here, because Alfred basically raised Bruce, and with all his gadgets, with all the fighting skills that Batman has, Bruce Wayne is like, he finds out that Alfred's sick, and he the great detective that he friggin' is, he can't detect it. It takes Alicia Silverstone to tell him, well, he's dying. And both Dick and Bruce are like, huh, what's going on? We had no idea.
This also did introduce, well, I'll give this movie one saving grace. It did introduce the idea of the love interest that existed between Dick and Barbara, because Dick and Barbara, for a brief time in the comics, before Dick went to go on to become Nightwing and then lead the Titans, and then he fell in love with Starfire.
Well, that happened in cartoons too.
And it did happen briefly in the cartoons. Now, mind you, we didn't really see that until Justice League Unlimited, and then the new Batman animated series, where they kind of touched on it with an older Dick Grayson and then Tim Drake. So for those of you that are not in the know of the Batman universe, a lot of people make fun of me because they're like, how do you know all this stuff? Well, because I read the comics.
Because he's Dre.
Because I'm Dre. So this movie, I don't even want to talk about it because I hate it. It's one of my personal.
I hated the Batmobile in this. I did like Robin's motorcycle though.
No, the motorcycles were awesome.
Was top notch.
And the figures for the figures. Now, mind you, the Hot Toy, the Sideshow, I think it's the Hot Toys version of Robin from this movie is amazing. The figure, it looks like Chris O'Donnell, and it's an amazing figure. If you have $250 and you want to get that figure from a shitty movie, you can. I'm suggesting not.
Or Sideshow, if you'd like to sponsor the Outer Dimension podcast, please email us at the Outer Dimension podcast at gmail.com.
Because I follow you on X, formerly known as Twitter. So please, we're looking for you. So obviously we can bypass this movie because again, it's like one of those.
Let's be honest. This movie was DOA.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Wayne.
No, wait. Every time I see this picture, I think of one thing. Strawberries, where's the fiber? And he breaks the dude's neck. Love that meme. For those of you that have not ever heard the meme of Bane killing his henchmen after they couldn't kill Batman and they couldn't find the body in the sewers, he goes like, fiber, where's this? He's like, strawberries. He's like, what did you have for breakfast? I had pancakes and strawberries.
Now, here we are. Now, I'm going to read some numbers here because I didn't go on the full rant that I did on the last one. So I'm going to go over some numbers here. Okay, we get Christian Bale, okay, known for playing movies like Ford versus Ferrari, fantastic film, The Mechanic,
American Psycho.
Yeah, oh man, don't
Patrick Bateman.
I mean, come on. The scene where he does the speech where he's talking about sports by Huey Lewis in the News.
Yes, great. Probably one of his best
fanatic.
films.
I mean, come on.
The Mechanic. Wait, don't forget The Mechanic. He did Terminator Salvation. He's got a plethora of films behind him and in front of him.
I mean, he was probably the best part of Thor: Love and Thunder. Let's be honest.
Many people feel that he was wasted on that movie, and
he was definitely wasted.
I'm one of those people that.
And he lost weight for that movie, believe it or not, so he can do it. So yeah, he was wasted in a couple different ways. So yes, he was Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and the Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Knight Rises. Yes.
I mean, the Nolan trilogy, regardless of what James Gunn thinks, we're not asking you, James. If you don't know, James Gunn recently came out against Nolan's trilogy, basically damning it. So, well, we can damn him to hell. Unless he's going to be making a Peacemaker season 2, then maybe I will forgive him. So
pause 1 second. I'm gonna as much hate as Gunn throws at the Nolan verse, he does do one thing that it's we got to remember Matt Reeves, Batman, and the Batfleck are all in the vein of the Nolan verse Batman. They're darker, they're grittier, they're the Punisher level Batman. So I want people that are listening to us to understand that whatever James Gunn's going to do with the Batman Brave and the Bold, which is going to be a separate storyline with Damian and Bruce, father son, that's not, a lot of people said that's not going to be the darker story that you're going to see in the Batman Part 2 with Robert Pattinson.
Well, I'll say this. I think James Gunn could actually do well with Batman Beyond because Terry McGinnis is he's a youthful, he's kind of a smart ass. I think that Gunn could, if he were to step out and do some directing. Yeah, and when I say step out, I'm talking about stepping out of his current role as head of DC, DC's film division with Warner Brothers itself. That's what I'm referring to.
Yes, and I will say this: Blue Beetle. If y'all haven't seen it, you all know. I know. Hey Archer and Nerd Affiliated, love you guys. We're biting our tongues because we want to say so many positive things and negative things about the movies that are currently out in TV shows. There's one positive thing I could say: Blue Beetle is a great start foray into the new DC universe. Please continue doing what you're doing with that style of movie. Give us more of that in the vein of like heroes that we don't know and that we want to see come out. Like, if you're going to retell Superman, that's fine. If you want to retell Batman, that's fine. Just don't fuck up anymore. Because Blue Beetle was good.
Speaking of Batman, let's get back to this.
Sorry. My rant.
Dre's going back to his corner right now.
Yes, I am.
I mean, we got a full-blown origin story. And when I say origin story, I'm not talking about Bruce Wayne losing his parents. We do get that. But we get a very emotional Bruce Wayne. The Bruce Wayne who, gets the opportunity to actually face the person who's Joe Chill, who killed his parents. And he goes on that mission he wants to be the Dark Knight. He wants to be someone who can protect people. So he goes around the world, not as Bruce Wayne. He's just kind of like, he's hitching rides. He's stowing away on cargo ships and trying to do everything he can to learn to fight, to learn to battle evil.
Going to jail.
And one of the best twists, I mean, Liam Neeson, he thinks he's the teacher, but he's really the big bad of the show. And I mean, he's an emotional. I mean, this is a Bruce Wayne we haven't seen before. He played him so damn well. I mean, where he's like, and Michael Caine is Alfred. I mean, come the frig on. I mean, you can't find a better. Oh no, I can't say that because we've had some pretty good Alfreds since then.
Jeremy Irons. Jeremy Irons.
But I mean, it's Michael Caine's pretty damn awesome. Like, he even tells him, he says, "Well, if you're gonna keep doing this, he's not even Batman at first. Like, first he comes back to Gotham, finds his company has gone public, and he, is being pushed out by, of all people, Rutger Hauer. I mean, this is
R.I.P.
I mean, we get so many great people. Katie Holmes is in here as like a long lost love interest, so to speak.
Which we end up changing her in the sequel.
And of course,
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yes.
Not a better looking,
not a downgrade if you ask me.
That was an upgrade from Katie Holmes, because Katie Holmes is pretty, but Maggie Gyllenhaal was way better.
But we're not done yet. We are not done yet. Who else do we get in this movie? Well, do you have a look at him on shows? I mean, we get that's my very, very bad Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is Lucius Fox. The first time we see Lucius in live action,
Yep, because we only had him in
and
the
he was,
comics. We never got him in the animated series either.
and Bruce is going to him like, hey, well, looking at applied sciences, and that's really where his back gadgets start to come from.
Applied sciences in the R&D division.
Yes, and and honestly, I mean, they kind of stole that in Arrow too. Queen Consolidate.
Yep, Queen Consolidated.
Applied Sciences Division. I mean, come on.
And mind you,
the whole thing.
Now, wait, just before Dave continues on with this, for those of you that are listening and those of you watching, there is no link to heroes in this universe. Gotham is as isolated as Star City, Central City. What was it?
There's no one with a red cape going around. None of that.
This universe is.
There's no other vigilantes. There's just
now,
Batman,
mind
basically.
you. Now, mind you, we do realize the continuity, the string of continuity that goes from Batman Begins to Batman to The Dark Knight Rises to the Dark to the Dark Knight to The Dark Knight Rises. All three of those films have a string that ties that's very similar to the Age of Ultron, which is Vision. What he says that when you gain more power, you gain challengers that challenge that power and authority.
You'll attract. I mean, come on. You get like, okay, there's a city where there's a dark protector, and well, hey, if they're gonna let someone do whatever, fly off the rooftops and beat the crap out of bad guys, well, hey, what can I get away with in this town? And that attracts the Joker, of course, in Dark Knights, and of course Dark Knight Rises. I mean, we get bad. I mean, it's but it kind of goes full circle. I'm sorry, I went a little ahead, guys. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can let me squeeze back there and I'll rewind this. There we go.
Hey, Duff.
Mr. Wayne.
Mr. Wayne.
I'm sorry, Tom Hardy. And let's be honest, Tom. We're not really talking about him, but I mean, come on, he was meant for the comic book movies. Between that and Venom, but that's another story.
I will say this though, because that was now, mind you, I did always tell you guys I found a picture from the movie that was their highest grossing. This was the highest grossing film for the franchise, which is actually Batman Begins grossed the least. The Dark Knight grossed way more because of obviously Heath Ledger. And then in 2012, this film was the finality of the trilogy, and grossed the most money. Now, mind you, I didn't go into today's funds because I would have been able to. It would have been a slight increase, but the fact that this movie,
not much,
it wouldn't have been much. It was literally, it would have been what now. 12 years, almost 11 years later, so it wouldn't have been a big bump. But 1.081 billion for his movie, The Dark Knight Rises, which again, Bane was done incorrectly. A lot of people had many issues with the Bane because they felt that it was not the Bane we wanted. Now, granted, were we going to get comic book or cartoon animated series Luchador? No.
Maybe a slightly better Bane than the previous movie.
Well, they gave us a better Bane than the previous, which I thought was perfect. And this is number one contender for the youngest Bruce Wayne, because he was 31 years old when he played Bruce Wayne. Now, obviously, his movie, the reason why people say he grossed a lot of money was because the franchise was relit. It was darker. It was grittier. You just came off of the major marquee acting of Heath Ledger as the Joker. May he rest in peace. And you moved into more darker characters, tying it a knot and adding Catwoman. I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, but like going back to Batman Begins,
Hollywood. Sorry,
we got the Arch.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you're going to New York City Comic Con and there's a YouTuber and you see something going on in your neighborhood, you know who to call. It's going to be nerd affiliated right here, Archer.
Just remember to shout out
He's all ghosting up.
Hollywood,
Hollywood, Hollywood, if you
Hollywood.
could. But seriously, Batman Begins. I just also remembered who else was in there.
Ken Watanabe.
Yeah, Ken Watanabe. But I mean, for Liam Neeson, who was really Ra's al Ghul the entire time, which was a bit of a twist.
It was a good twist.
And I mean, come on, we're also forgetting who else was in there. Who was our Commissioner Gordon in this film?
Gary Oldman, one of my favorite actors.
So just think about that. Let your mind settle in for just a second. Let us seep in for a second, guys. Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Liam Neeson, Ken Watanabe, Katie Holmes,
Gary Oldman,
Morgan Freeman. I mean,
Rutger Hauer.
Yeah, Rutger Hauer. I mean, think all these friggin' amazing people for the first film.
Yeah, then we get the second one.
But no, the best part, Gary Oldman gets to drive the Batmobile and shoot missiles.
That was my favorite when he did that. Yeah, he didn't know what he was doing. He was pushing random buttons in the Batmobile.
And well, he wasn't even Commissioner Gordon yet.
Well, okay.
He was a sergeant, I think.
He was low. He wasn't commissioner till the end of. Yeah, he was commissioner until the Dark Knight. Yeah, because in the Dark Knight he becomes the commissioner when the commissioner dies in the first one, because the mayor of Gotham City announces him as Commissioner Gordon. That's when he gets his fake death, and then that's when they try to catch the Joker. Now, could we bring up Steven's second comment? No, the other one above that one. Isn't that a true tale that all the villains are always better each movie? Of course, I can 110% agree with you that they're 9 times out of 10 you're going to always see a better Batman movie. And then he says, obviously, you have Jack and Danny out as the top of the two. I actually would say that I would look at Heath Ledger and Jim Carrey before I mean, Danny DeVito did a great job as Oswald Cobblepot.
I mean,
I'll give him that.
Heath Ledger. I mean, his Joker, him and Jack. I hate to say the two Jokers right there, but I mean, come on, think of because let's rewind back to Michael Keaton's Batman for a second, okay? We get Jack Nicholson. Now, the Joker we had before him,
Romero.
but I mean, that's cranking your Joker up to 11. Yeah, no, I'll say up to 12, because Jack Nicholson's Joker, he was this straight mobster type. He gets dropped in acid, disfigured, and then he's just driven kind of insane. I love the part when they're going through the art museum that has the restaurant there, and they're he's painting everything, they're destroying everything. He's like, no, I like that one, leave it alone. And then they're just having he's and you can't tell me Jack Nicholson did not have a good time during that movie.
Oh no, he did.
It was like, you know what? Do whatever the hell you want, Jack, and he did. He's like, whoa.
Yeah, now listen, Mr. Affiliate.
Hey, Gap, what's going on, Gap After Dark? And by the way, guys, little reminder, we are now, in case people are just tuning in, because it looks like everyone's just tuning in right now. We are now at an earlier time on Wednesdays on the Outer Dimensions podcast channel. We are now at 7 p.m. Eastern. But if you guys tune in late, you can always catch us on the replays on our YouTube channel or Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. You can always listen to us. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up, hey, really, whoa. So you guys already started? Yes, we did.
So I will say this: if that whoa was for what I said, I will stand on my hill and die on my hill, as I choose Heath Ledger over Jack Nicholson. Yes, and I will choose Jim Carrey over what was it? Danny DeVito. I'm not saying they were bad.
I mean,
that's Burton. If I want a Burton Batman, that's good. But if you take apart, I'm not choosing Jared Leto, because Jared Leto was terrible. I like Jared Leto the actor.
We don't talk about Jared Leto here.
But
I'm sorry.
he's in the Joker category, you know. But if I'm
No,
gonna
he's not.
if I'm gonna
He's Joker from Wish. Let's be honest.
he is.
Or Timu.
Yeah, I like that. Or team. So yeah, you know, if I'm gonna like, I die on that hill. I will die on that hill. That those are the two, because Jim Carrey, for me, killed it as the Riddler, and salvaged a rather shitty Batman movie in many ways. So
Now, I can't. Now, like I said before, Jim Carrey is great. He's fantastic. To me, it didn't. It felt like, excuse me, hiccups for a second.
and the worlds are completely different, because you are looking at you're looking at different directors, because you're looking at Schumacher's version of villains, which are comedy and campy, and a return to the franchise of campiness from 66, where Burton was trying to go his style, which is darker and more gothic. And I think Nolan gives a good blend of taking a campy villain in the Joker and turning him into the sociopath that you needed to have him be, which was what Mark Hamill did when he embodied him for animated series. Penguin is also a solid character, because Danny DeVito does a great job of showing that, you know, and will I give the backstory? It's due that Gotham, the TV show, kind of gives you Cobblepot's backstory a little bit better as a rich kid.
Well,
yes.
Well, let's just elaborate on that. Since you brought up Gotham, Penguin had the same parents in both. Paul Rubens and the actress who played the mother for Danny DeVito's Penguin in the flashback also were Cobblepot's parents in Gotham.
And you're right, Steven. The studios did hate the first two movies, because it's crazy to think that Warner Brothers hated something that grosses billions of dollars in a franchise, but then goes to Logo Feces 96, 95, and 97, where everything Warner Brothers IP was in their movies, and they both were terrible.
Let's be honest. The studios think they know what they think they know what the fans want. No, unless you're fans. See, that's why there's like certain films, like take a look at the Russos. We've talked about them before. They were fans.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you have fans come together and they're the ones writing, they're the ones directing, they're the ones producing, you're going to get a phenomenal outcome.
Ed Norton, when he directed the Hulk, probably one of the best Hulk films you're going to see. Kenneth Branagh, Thor, the very first Thor movie. Kenneth Branagh killed it in directing that film because he was a fan. John Favreau,
Iron Man. Yes.
No, anything Favreau touches is gold. Elf, Mandalorian.
Okay. Now, are you talking about directing or anything he puts his hand into?
Both.
Because we reviewed a movie last week called Daredevil.
Favreau was an actor.
Ago.
No, Favreau was an actor in it, not a director.
That's why I asked. Are you talking about directing or anything that he puts his hand into?
Okay. Anything he directs is gold.
See, this is what I do. I turn people's words around.
He could try.
That's what she
said. But and here's the funny thing, nerd. I'm gonna nerd affiliated. I was saying that when Dave was mentioning the statistics, the toys for those franchises are some of the most sought after collectibles. If you guys follow the major figure podcast, if you guys follow pretty much any if you follow Ethan Page,
Yes, have some.
You know,
Toy Anxiety and Yes Have Some YouTube channel. They're big into collecting 90s
and they're the most sought after
toys. So yeah,
and there are certain exclusives you can't get anymore, like there were KB Toys R Us exclusive. I know Ethan Page, the professional wrestler for AEW, he just took his toy channel down. But if you look at some of his older hunts from last year, earlier this year, you'll see he finished his entire collection. Like he owns every 90s Batman toy that was ever made. And only other person that rivals that is like what's his face? Matt Cardona, the other independent wrestler, because they're both huge Batman marks. So just if you guys didn't know anything about those, you can check them out if you're a toy hunter or a fan of watching toy collecting
Okay.
videos.
But now here, this is the only movie that came close to touching Keaton's record. Well, he actually surpassed it
No,
at
this one surpassed it.
1.081. But out of the other ones, this is the only one that really came close to touching Keaton's record, which was 1.015. Great number, by the way. But I mean, it's it's pretty amazing, and he's still young enough that he can come back as a Batman. He's only 49 right now. I could definitely see some. We have a lot of weird, freaky multiversal stuff going on right now, so you just never know.
Okay, let's go.
But I would like to see him come back as a villain in a future Batman movie.
So here's some
just throwing it out there.
Here's some hot takes for those of you that did not know the bad movie that we call The Flash. That, and I know, hey, Archer's gonna hate on me for saying it like that. The
Flash
Batman
is a girl and a Batman.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Sounds like oh god, so many bad things we could say. We're a family friendly channel. That's for the after outtakes and stuff.
No, we're not.
I know we're not. Bale was approached by Buscemedi to come into this film, into the Flash, to be in the multiverse of Batmans, and he opted out. He said, "I'm done. You are taking Batman out of a comfort zone that I would like to see it in," and he had other projects he was working on. So just to give you guys the foresight,
a Batman with character and morals.
Exactly. He was like, I'm doing other projects.
Batman.
And he didn't want to reprise the role unless Nolan was directing.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. I'm Batman. I mean, come on. Let's be honest.
I'm the Batman that does everything like this.
The only thing I can criticize about Bale's Batman is he sounded so constipated every time he talked.
I didn't say constipated. My friends all said that he sounded like he was smoking like 12 packs a day.
No, it's not who I am under the mask.
But what I do that matters.
It sounds like he's trying to drop a deuce. I mean, come on, let's be honest. I'm just saying. Number one, taking number two.
So again, he's currently 49 years old, still young, still can do more work if he ever wanted to do it as Batman. I don't think he should. I think I could see him as a Batman villain. I think he would be great. But I think if Matt Reeves is doing it, I think Matt Reeves sits kind of more.
I don't see him doing Marvel anytime soon. Let's be honest.
No, but I don't see him maybe doing any comic book stuff anytime soon. I think he likes to do his, he likes what Nolan's doing. I like.
Oh, then again, nobody's really making any Marvel stuff right now.
That's true. So let's move on to the next one. Now, this is one of my personal favorite Batmans, and I know, and I'm going to catch a lot of flack for it, and I don't care. Again, I will die on this hill. Are you going
to fall on your sword? You mean?
Oh no, I'll die on this hill. I'm going to borrow the line from Sal. Sal says he dies on this hill. That's what he said when we were on when I interviewed him.
Well, you are getting close to over the hill now, right?
So are you. You with me on that? I'm going to drag your ass with me.
I look damn good for my age.
I'm like fine wine. I get better with age. So I digress. This obviously is the Batman with the most Batman films under his belt, from 2016 in Batman v Superman to 2017, which was Justice League, to 2019, which was the Suicide Squad, to 2021, which was obviously the Justice League Snyder Cut, and then 2023, The Flash. And really his role in The Flash was more of a cameo than it was an actual full-on role. But I also listed 2023 because I listed there he's in the deleted scene for the Aquaman film. Thank you. I agree. He is in the top two Batman. And here's why I say that he's in the top two. Physically, he trained to be Batman. He inspired guys that I knew that were going to the gym to do the workout. Like he took the Rock's workout.
We saw him doing the hammer with the truck tire thing. I'm like, we saw him doing like real.
He had
real workouts.
He had the 150-pound weights on the chain to his feet to do the workouts. I mean, he was torturing his body because he felt his parents were taken from him, and he had to do something about the alien, because this is the first Batman that now is in a multiverse, in a universe where other heroes and
He was
villains
friggin'
exist.
forget Superman for a minute, okay? He was friggin' branding bad guys with his emblem. Remember
Punisher,
that?
Punisher.
Huh?
Just to give you guys the thing, if you saw Batman v Superman, he was walking around, and they do mention in the 2013 film Man of Steel there was a vigilante in Gotham. So we do know that in the Cavill, which is now because they're combining universes, that Cavill as Clark Kent was experiencing a vigilante who was obviously Batfleck. And in his universe, Batman knew about Superman. He also kept tabs on other metahumans. So he is the oldest of all the Batmen because he was 44 years old when they tapped him to be Batman, and he's currently 51 years old. Now, the one movie that I know people hate on it, and there's plot holes you could drive a truck through for it, and that's
Martha. What?
one of these days, Dave and I have we talked about it. It's on our list for next year to do a full-on deep dive. Why the hell are there these pizza holes cut in the storyline of Batman versus Superman? Many true fans have claimed it to be one of the worst films ever made in this franchise of DC. Obviously, with saving graces like the Suicide Squad, Blue Beetle, because I'm going to claim it. Blue Beetle was great, and the Snyder cut of Justice League. So that's my hot take on that.
I'm sorry. There's only the Snyder Cut Justice League. There is
Well,
no other versions of
there's
Justice
a
League.
there's a reason why I had to say it because
So I'm just saying.
when I was doing my numbers, I had to count when the movies were made. So I had to put in the 2019 and the 2021. So obviously, Batman v Superman, I watched it in New York with my friend Eric when he was still living up there. It was the first time I'd seen a movie inside New York in
I had the
years.
extended cut of that movie actually.
So do I, and it grossed 874 million worldwide. It did it warrant a sequel? No, and I'm glad that if they ever touch anything like this again, you could do the Super Sons. Give me the Super Sons. I'll take that any day of the week. So I'm gonna leave that at that. Obviously, like I mentioned, he has the most Batman films under his belt, and really they're more Batman. There's no solo Batman film. So let me clarify that. He is the first Batman to not have a solo Batman film. He was supposed to, which was Matt Reeves until he had some issues with substance abuse and had to he lost his contract with Warner Brothers, and that's when Robert Pattinson was stepped in.
I
Now,
mean, well, he is married to J Lo again, so I mean,
well,
it's straight off, I guess.
it's a lot. There was a lot of things he was going through in his
That's where the
personal life.
substance comes from.
Well, I knew there was a lot of problems he was going through, and my heart went out to him. Because he's not Ben Affleck's a great actor himself and other things he's done.
He's an actor, writer, director. I mean, he's an Oscar winner with him and Matt Damon.
Exactly. So just so you guys could understand, his role as Batman is I think iconic for the modern era. I think a lot of people.
He's got the look of Bruce Wayne,
and he carries himself like a Bruce
and the
Wayne,
look of Batman.
And he doesn't. I feel he took the best of Clooney and the best of Michael Keaton and merged the two. A Batman that knows he has money but doesn't flaunt it. Like Christian Bale flaunted that he had money as Batman. Like, oh yeah, I own the building. Oh, I own the restaurant.
You mentioned his name, and he shall appear.
Hey, Sal, I said it too. But
the Sal is here. Dre's been talking about dying on a hill. So
yeah, I've been saying dying on a hill. So I've been quoting you. So I mean, again, I love his scene in Batman vs Superman when he's on the phone. I love that they've used that same scene over and over. Which again, I know it's Hollywood, so they got to restart. They used the reshot footage, but
we get something that scene you're talking about when he's on the phone. The same time that the end of Man of Steel takes place, where the battle's happening. I mean, that's the first time we've seen in live action Bruce Wayne doing what Batman would have done. Like, he's risking
Christian Bale, Nolanverse, third Batman film, second Batman movie. he gets in the car, in the Lamborghini, in the Lambo, and he runs it into the car.
Okay, I'm talking about not wearing. Okay, that's driving inside a car. You're in protective shield.
No, but he still, but he was dressed as Bruce Wayne. He
Okay,
wasn't.
I will step away from that. I'm not gonna cause arguments.
I
Because
know. I'm just saying.
no,
I'm just saying.
because if you're driving a fast car, yeah, you got a little bit of ability. He's running around, trying to protect a little girl and trying to help people out of rubble with bare hands, no cars, no extra tools or
Two
gadgets.
different
So I'm
kinds of
gonna.
Batman, though.
Okay, fair enough. We can agree to disagree.
Okay, I love it. I love it.
Okay, I know your address.
I know you do. I got yours too.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
again, go ahead, Dave. I'm not gonna. I'm not
but I
disagreeing
mean,
with you.
it's something that we don't typically see though. Look at all the Batman movies that we're talking about tonight. It's not some
Keaton didn't do it. Clooney didn't do it.
no. We
Kilmer couldn't do it.
let's take a look here. I just wrapped up a DM meeting with my group. Obviously, we sat around for an hour and a half and nothing got done. But I'm here with you guys rest of the night here.
All right.
Sal, if you DM meeting, what's DM?
He's the dungeon master. For
Okay,
D&D.
dungeon master. Okay, I saw a meme today. This is what I want. This is what I'm challenging you to do for you to do one of these days. Play Dungeons and Dragons, but use Cards Against Humanity. It's going to be a funny result. I dare you to do it and let me know what happens.
I'll give him some advice on how to do something like that because I've done something like that.
But I mean, it's he was a completely different. What I'm getting at is he's a Bruce Wayne, but there wasn't. It was kind of a blurred line as to he wasn't like two separate people. It was like he was always the same person, whether he was Bruce Wayne or Batman.
You're right, and I think that Batman vs Superman, Man of Steel, the battle in Gotham, and the battle in Metropolis. I think he did a great job of showing that humanity. I will agree that Bale's Batman didn't really go out and fight in the streets because he couldn't, and I think that he became more of a shut-in where Batfleck more was like, I'm going to go fight and be Batman, and I think he defended his role very well as Bruce Wayne and very well as Batman, and hands down, I think it's like I said, he is my number 2 Batman for many reasons, and I think I mean, do I like his voiceovers? No, I don't like the "Where's Martha? Martha." He sounds like freaking he's hopped up on steroids. So
well, he has to have something to disguise his voice in. Instead of having like him talking more gruff, he's got the little voice changer in his suit. So I mean, okay, I was like, okay, I can go with this. I can roll with this now. But I mean, he's definitely one of the better Batmen. And like you said, he has a cameo in that one movie, and he's gonna have a cameo in the Aquaman movie, depending on if or when that comes out. Because who knows?
Yeah, it's coming out. So it wasn't delayed. It's coming out. It was supposed to be delayed till March of next year, but it's still coming out in December from everything that's I've been reading. And the deleted scene was pulled because this is the finality of Aquaman. And the reason they pulled it was because supposedly the scene that Affleck was in
takes place after
was supposed to basically
movie?
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like kind of like a continuation of like, if we do the Justice League, this is the team sort of thing. Like, how Gal Gadot was in Shazam: Wrath of the Gods, and she was also in her movie, and it's just a lot. So I know.
Spoiler alert! I didn't see it.
I gave you the code. I gave you the code for
it. I just haven't watched it. I'm sorry. I've been busy with so many other things.
She's in the commercials. Like, she was in the commercials. It's not like a big surprise. She was in the commercials. And she was in like 3 of the trailers that they did.
Just like she was in the NFast.
Oh no, I'm not gonna say that. That was a complete spoiler. But again, not the highest grossing, third highest grossing Batman film. and
the oldest Bruce
oldest
Wayne when he
and
started.
the oldest when he started. So let's go to the last one. And the
Hey,
last one,
44 years old. Does that mean I can be Batman?
yeah, of course you can.
Or
Listen,
or
dress
can I
for
be
the job.
Batman?
No, dress for the job you want.
Well, I kind of have a few flight suits and a few proton packs. So I guess I know what job I can.
I want to dress up as Batman, so I'd be Batman. Now, obviously, this is going to be the last one that we discussed this evening, and probably one of my more favorite Batman films. And a lot of people have criticized me.
Get a haircut, Bruce.
I mean, there was so much hate on this film that I remember trying to sit down with my wife to watch it. It's 3 hours long.
I'll admit, full disclosure, I was one of those people. Okay, I was one of those people that hated on this movie before I saw it. Okay, because one, I'm like, wait a minute, this is the kid that gets killed in the one Harry Potter movie, and this is the sparkly emo vampire who somehow survived long enough to become a Batman. I was totally against him. Like, I was like, and what's with the friggin' Joker smile type cowl that I'm like, there's so many things that are like, I was so against. And then finally I went to go see it. It was me, my wife, and my soon to be cousin-in-law. And we went and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. There's some things
so you
that
saw
wasn't
this in
crazy
theaters?
about. I saw it in theaters, yes.
Oh wow, I did not get the privilege. I watched it on Max.
Yes, because I'm a rebel.
We had the baby. We had the baby at this point, so I couldn't go to the theater.
No, we saw it in theaters. It was pandemic style, but we saw it. But I'm like, when I first heard about it, I'm like, oh come on, not the emo vampire, him as Batman. I'm like, I was like, I knew it was Batman movie, so I knew I was going to see it regardless. But I was one of those people that was totally hating on it. I was making jokes about it. I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrible. It's going to be crap. But I still, I went and saw it and I enjoyed it for the most part. It's just like certain things, like he was good as being Batman. My personal opinion, he sucked ass through a straw as Bruce Wayne.
All right, let me counter.
That was me.
Let me counter this because I watch this at home. I too, Archer. It's a very hard watch to see it a second time through. I've only watched it when we were on vacation for GalaxyCon while the girls were sleeping in the morning. It was like 7:00 in the morning. Nobody was awake. I watched the second half of the movie because it was already at like the halfway point.
Picks?
So I literally, the watch time for this movie is it's very tough to sit and do 3 hours in one sitting for this movie because it's a lot of story, not heavy action until the second half of the film. I do agree that there was some issues with Pattinson being Bruce Wayne. But like I was telling Dave backstage, his is my favorite bat insignia. For those of you that did not know, that's Joe Chill's gun. That's actually melded into the bat armor, and that's his bat insignia on his chest. Now, obviously, this is Batman suit 1.0. This is not bat suit like Iron Man. This is he's a younger, angrier Bruce Wayne that's not fully
not
trained.
hipper, but another friggin' fantastic Alfred though.
Oh goodness, the Alfreds that they Andy Serkis. I mean, you can't. Dave and I have said it that the villains may have gotten worse in the movies, but then you get the freaking Alfreds have just been upgraded every film. And this one, obviously, again, you have a lot of characters that are done very differently. Obviously this film. Oh, I forgot. I did make an error, Dave. I have to call myself out. The error is that I should have put 2022, not 2016. That was my fault for not changing that.
Time traveler, you.
I know. So the big thing with this film, obviously, is we have Catwoman, who is Lenny Kravitz's daughter. She's beautiful.
Zoe, yeah.
She did. Now I feel she's more akin to the character that we see in
In the
Gotham.
comics, maybe.
No, I feel more she played more like a Jada Pinkett Smith's character from
She
Gotham than
wasn't
she really.
Catwoman though.
No, I know Jada, she wasn't, but I said she played her character very similar with that kind of edge to her and a little bit of softness, but she still had that
Well,
edge.
it would be like if Jada survived all the way through Gotham and was like a mother or mentor towards the cat girl
Thank
from
you.
Gotham. That's really, I think that's where you're going with that.
Yes, that you hit the nail on the freaking head. Thank you, brother, because
That's
that's what
my
I was.
job.
That's what I
I'm
was
Dave.
thinking. Now, as far as this was also our first kind of take that Catwoman was a metahuman, because when there's moments like where you see her put her hand on his face and her claws, her nails extend outward, that shows that she's a meta. They didn't tell you where she gets her powers. Penguin, I mean, Colin Farrell did a great job as Penguin. The Riddler was.
Hey, it's those chemicals in the Friskies syrup
Um,
in the Friskies cat food. Hey.
Now, obviously, did I love the Riddler? Yes, I think he was great as a serial killer. I think it was the first time you take a character and you turned him completely 180 into a
He was a
true.
freaking creepy ass.
But
Just
that works though. That works for the Riddler, because the Riddler. If you have, okay, in this universe, the Joker already existed,
it's
so
like
we
if you
already
took
knew
Heath
that.
Ledger's Joker and you took Calendar Man and you turned him inside out and twisted him all around, and that's the result you got. It was like nobody saw this coming. Nobody saw that coming.
And
Nobody.
And for those of you that do not know, Calendar Man's a reference to the Batman, the Long Halloween, part 1 and part 2. So Dave gets fucking huge points for nerddom for pulling that one out, because Calendar Man
Well, you
is
didn't
one
know
of
I knew
those.
about Calendar Man? Come
Oh, no,
on.
no, I know you do. You
Or
have to
anyone
do.
who played the Arkham movies or the Arkham video games.
Now we do have a negative comment from Sal saying that and I don't want to say negative, it's his opinion. He said he did not work as a Riddler. They should have called him anything except the Riddler. I don't disagree.
I'm in Sal's camp because, like I said, it didn't seem like a Riddler to me. He seemed like I said, he seemed like a twisted Calendar Man, like somebody who was disgruntled. Someone pissed in their Cheerios and then told them that their mother was Martha. I mean, just like all kinds of twisted, crazy insanity. But I will say this: he did fit for that universe.
Oh, he fit perfectly in the Matt Reeves universe.
And I mean, come on, given the Batman movies we've seen up until this point in time, I mean, this is kind of like, with the exception of the Joel Schumacher Batman movies, this is the first time in years we saw where a Batman was walking freely amongst the police.
Yep.
A lot of cops didn't really care too much for him. They thought he was a friggin' freak. But you get Gordon walking him through, and the first time we get a Gordon of color
And
in
I was
live action.
so happy because he's such a great actor.
Oh,
Jeffrey Wright.
First movie I saw him in, Shaft, with Sam Jackson as Peoples.
Jeffrey Wright,
Do you
man.
know why they call me Peoples? Because they're kind of my Peoples.
Now, let's address some things that we hey, Sleeping Collectibles, glad to have you in the chat. I will say, Steven, I like the kid that we got as a possible Robin. I think it was a good nod for the Matt Reeves universe, because I know in the sequel they're looking to bring Victor Fries, and they're looking to bring another villain on from the Batman gallery. And
see, I need to rewatch the Batman because I've only seen it just once in theaters.
I have it on Blu-ray, and I have a code for you, so I'll give you the code from that Blu-ray so you can watch it. And then we have Code Gaius.
Westworld is great, the original and the HBO series.
Oh yeah, the HBO series was great. Code Gaius says, I think Riddler shouldn't have been a creepy murderer. Yeah, but see, here's the thing.
Yep.
If you go based on the 66 Batman, like we've been saying, Dave and I have kind of set that precedent. If you follow the precedent from the 66 Batman to the 95 and 97 Batman films were gimmicky, campy villains. But if you go to the Tim Burton, Christopher Nolan, and Matt Reeves, you're getting a darker, grittier, angry, not
Well,
gimmick villains. The
I'll
only
say,
gimmick villain you can say they had was Scarecrow, and even Scarecrow was fucking creepy.
well, going back to Nolan's universe, they did not use Scarecrow correctly. They could have done so much more with him, and
He
he
was a
was
waste.
underused.
He was
Yeah,
wasted. I
Cillian
100%
Murphy
agree
is
with
a
that.
fantastic actor.
Oh,
He's amazing
Op-
in I haven't seen that.
Peaky
Yeah, I'm going to be watching it.
Blinders.
Yeah, I'm thinking 28 Days Later.
20 days later. I mean, dude, he's been
I mean, that's
everything
the
he's
first
done.
time I saw him in there, and he was bloody fantastic in that. But I mean,
He was a
again,
background character to Ra's al Ghul and everything
Riddler
else.
and the Batman. Riddler and the Batman. He definitely, you know what? He could have been in another. He could have been in a TV show called Dexter. He was that kind of twisted murderer that I could have saw. Like, it's something you could see in a lot of different things, but did it felt like it fit in this twisted kind of world that of the Matt Reeves Batman, but it didn't feel like Riddler. I agree. Was it Sal or someone had said that they
Sal
could
has
have
said it.
that well no that they could have called him something else. They could have just created him as a wholly unique.
Yeah, Sal said it. He did. He
Yeah,
did work. You could have called him
that
anything else.
you could have just created a brand new character. It's not the first time we had a fan favorite or something created out of nowhere. I mean, look at Harley Quinn. She was created for the Batman the Animated Series, and she became a friggin', I mean, a fan favorite.
Star.
She's been required to be in video games, and they even spun her off to her own cartoon on HBO.
And basically, the Suicide Squad movies were revolved around her
Yes.
character, and they made the Emancipation of Harley Quinn Birds of Prey movie, which was terrible, but still, Margot Robbie was the center focus for that.
Sorry, Birds of Prey never happened.
Oh, it happened, all right. It was
It
terrible.
never happened. So let's take a look at Code. Even though Tim Burton's Batman films were darker in tone, they were pretty campy too. Well, you know what? I'll say,
Number
I'll
one
say
was
Batman Returns there was some camp to it.
wait,
like
you feel Returns was campier than Batman?
hear me out.
Batman 89
Listen, bald boy. Let me finish, Mr. Clean. Like when Catwoman falls, like she's thrown off the building, she lands into a dump truck, but it's like a truck filled. She's like, "Oh, saved by kitty litter," I mean, there's that, or like, I mean, the whole banter between her and Danny DeVito's Penguin. I mean, that was a bit more campiness, and plus, Batman Returns was more of an exaggeration, more of a caricature of the first movie, because you had, what the hell is his name? I'm blanking on his name. The one that played Max Shrek in Christopher Walken. He had all the makeup and the coloring with his hair.
Who needs more cowbell?
I mean, there was definitely more camp there. There was more camp. They kind of like, it was more Burton, let's just say.
But
the
I do
first
agree with
movie
Sal.
felt a little bit more gravity, more in reality, so to speak. So I mean, I can concede, like, yeah, after that they started getting more and more campier with Bane and with Mr. Freeze. I mean, they really got out there.
Friendship's over. Friendship's over from between me and Sal.
What was it? I lied birds. Okay.
No, he liked Birds of Prey. That's what he was trying to say.
Matt Reeves' Riddler would have worked better as
No.
I like that, Sal. I like that a lot.
I agree. Now wait, go down to his other comment.
I'm going down one by one. I agree. He even looked like Hush a little bit. Yeah.
Friendship's over.
Tons of duct tape. Batman Forever is underrated. I died on that hill. Well, I think you just did.
Yeah, alone, you'll die on that hill.
But that era fit the campy, I think. Yeah.
66,
it definitely did.
66, 89, 92, 95, 97. Yes. Oh, God. We got more people that love these Schumacher films, man.
Whoa.
Wow. I can't.
I mean, the whole, like, here's my thing. Like, the Schwarzenegger thing, like his suit being all lit up. It just, I would have loved back then if they would have done a live action Batman movie, but did it in the theme of the whole noir setting of Batman the animated series, but that'll probably never happen. Fig Pick says 66 Batman was the ultimate campy, but it was still glorious. Yes, it was. It was. I mean, it's still that guilty pleasure. Like that or Green Hornet, if it's on TV or on streaming somewhere, I would binge it through. I would. Sal says boo. Code says I prefer Schumacher over Nolan and Reeves. He captured the heart and humor of Batman better, in my opinion. Okay, as far as the humor goes, I'm going to say definitely the earlier Batman movies. I mean, the Schumacher movies, okay, I can kind of go with that. Nolan's never really been known for comedy. So, I mean, he's more known for, like, twists, like Inception, and he's done some amazing films. He's more of like that, I don't want to say action necessarily, but definitely something that a story that is strong, that will grab you, it'll entertain you. And it comes with some pretty interesting twists and turns, but he's never been a comedy person. And Matt Reeves, I can't say I've really seen anything with Matt Reeves that had a touch of comedy to it.
Well, Matt Reeves, the way as a director, his stuff is more edgy, serious.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Nolan and Reeves are more serious, more action, or they're more drama oriented with some good turns and twists. So yeah, as far as like, because Code was saying Schumacher over Nolan and Reeves,
that's why I walked away.
So yeah.
I had to walk away to throw up in my bathroom when I heard that because my stomach couldn't hold it in.
See, that's the thing. I think the only one who's successfully directed a Batman film that had good balance to it, I'm going back to Burton. I think Burton did a great job with the very first Batman, and even the second one is very enjoyable.
And we all, like we said,
and the thing is,
only one to gross it higher.
Bruce Wayne is not really known for making jokes. Batman's never really one for making jokes. He's always a serious type. So you're not really going to have a whole lot of humor. You'll get some humor maybe once in a while. Like maybe him joking with Alfred or with Robin or something.
Listen, Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, Terry McGinnis said it best. He said you couldn't even get the old man couldn't tell a joke if it even bit him in the cape.
Yep.
So we all know that's
hey, I thought you wanted Batman to laugh.
Exactly.
Yep. And we should definitely we should actually cover some animated Batman movies in the future.
That's on the list. I have a whole thing set up for next year because people have made suggestions. So I'm taking some of their suggestions and throwing them in.
Code says Burton's Batman films are borderline masterpieces. I just wish they didn't have Batman break his no kill rule. Well, it's not he. Which one are you referring to? Because he didn't outright kill anyone. He didn't kill Joker.
And Joker didn't die. He just got mutated. So he didn't. In the Kilmer franchise, Riddler was put in Arkham. Two-Face was put in Arkham.
Joker did die.
Okay, that was Burton, not Schumacher.
Yeah.
So Uma Thurman technically got. I don't want to say. I don't think she died.
No, she demutated. I guess you could say.
Yeah, she lost her abilities, and then Bane lost his muscle,
venom, his juice,
and Victor Freeze lost his, got warm. So
Victor Freeze went to prison, but Clooney's Bruce said that don't worry, I'm going to set things up so you can continue trying to save her.
So
yeah.
So with this, I'm going to take a break for the comments for a second just to address this because we're gonna be ending.
Batman strapped a bomb to a guy and returns and smiled while doing it.
That's Burton. That's darker Batman.
That's kind of and that's kind of cartoony. It's Warner Brothers, being like how many times did Elmer Fudd get blown up?
Exactly.
Or Daffy. Also in Returns, Batman set a guy in a devil costume on fire.
But he was shooting at him with a gun. Let's be honest. I'm going to say somebody's shooting at me with a gun. I set you on fire. That's all fair in Love and War. Yes, we did. We talked about that. That was 2017
with Shatner as Two-Face
and Eartha Kitt doing Catwoman and Burt Ward doing Robin.
How awesome would that have been to have Shatner in live action? Like if they would have done Two-Face and had Shatner on there in the 60s. Oh, that would have been amazing.
So I will ask this to the chat because you guys are very active. If you guys want us to do this, as in like I'm already booking stuff out for January now. Like January's open for us, and loving the suggestions of what you guys would do. Would you guys like us to do like the animated Batman movies, like best of animated Batman films? And like not including the new Warner Brothers 100 stuff that's coming out now, but I'm talking about like everything from at least
Mask of the Phantasm, maybe
Mask of the Phantasm,
Batman Beyond Return of the Jokers is one of my picks.
You know, you could even include was it the newer Batman stuff that they did with Damian, Batman versus Son of the Bat. You know, if you guys are interested, let me know. Julie Newmar, that's right. It was Julie Newmar because Eartha Kitt had passed away. That's right.
And of course, I mean Julie Newmar, she's world famous because she was in the Halle Berry Catwoman movie.
Yes, she was.
And let's not forget her name was actually in the title of a movie. Come on, Dre, think about it. A certain film with Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes, and John Leguizamo.
Oh God.
Tu Wong Fu. Thank you for everything. Love Julie Newmar.
Yeah, love Julie Newmar. So we got. If you guys really like it, give us a thumbs up in the comments right now for the chat, just so I can.
Code's giving us some
Code,
love
you're giving us a blessing, and I'm. It's not like you have to twist my arm to do this because there's several.
Oh, I mean, there's Sub-Zero, which is a good one.
That's a very good one. Then you have.
I mean, Mask of the Phantasm, though, which are all. I mean, those are all Batman in the series era.
Is amazing. Amazing. It's the first time Batman they bleed and he cusses in a movie.
Yeah.
So we got 2. If I get one more thumbs up, it'll be our very first episode we do in 2024. So give me one more thumbs up, and that'll be the first episode we do 2024. We'll start off the new year with going into something that's amazing. Steven has sent us 5. He just went like boom, 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 like do it. So yeah, that'll be our first episode.
Pix is giving us a thumbs up as well.
So we'll say the first episode for 2024 will be a review, not a full review, but we're gonna take the top Batman animated films and give them a good review.
D Lasso. I hope I'm saying that right. Awesome.
D Lasso.
Yeah.
All right. So
awesomeness.
So obviously we
very nice.
So what I kind of want to give a little wrap up before we end for the evening. Obviously we know that the next release for this Matt Reeves sequel, which is part of a trilogy, part 2 is being released in 2025. We know it's in October. There's no exact date.
Is that going to be a Joker? Do we know anything about that?
The villain for this one that they've inked already is Victor Fries. Victor Fries is going to start.
That's going to be interesting to see what
a darker kind twist.
What is Victor going to look like in this world, given the duct tape Riddler we had?
I think we're going to get a very good. I think it's going to be because also Penguin is getting a Max series with Colin Farrell, which is supposed to be a tie-in.
Well, they were making it, but I don't know if they're stopping it though. That's the thing I think they finished.
From what I remember, they had said they had finished filming, but they were still in the editing process.
Okay.
So we have to wait and see what that's going to be. Now again, that's 2025. So we have another year. That could be 2 years. That's going to be delayed. Let's just be honest. Let's just say probably 2026. Because I know that they said they started filming it this year, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, again, your Batman is not always going to be my Batman. Your Batman, it's like even Spider-Man. It's everybody's entitled their opinion. I love how people have been very respectful this evening. Granted, I did get I did get my
Well,
text from Sal that blew me up, so I
well,
found
well
it
me,
hilarious.
me, me and Sal both know that Garfield is the best Spider-Man. We already confirmed that. So
And you know, we all know who the best Superman is, hands down. What we could all agree, Christopher Reeve
yes,
is the best Superman you're gonna get. And you know, again, we don't do television shows on here. I've had a lot of requests come in from people saying, Dre talked to Dave. We've said it before, and I'll address it again. We do movies only. If you guys would like us to do a specialty episode after we've done all the other projects we have, we will gladly work on something
I
like that.
will. I if you don't mind, I want to step up a little bit.
Go ahead.
If anyone would like a discussion about TV shows, you can email davesdimension78 at gmail.com. I have done a few retrospects on TV shows in the past, like Sliders, and I was doing last year I was reviewing the Quantum Leap series. So if anyone's interested in maybe a retrospect or a recap or discussion on some TV shows, you can either email me at davesdimension78 at gmail.com or Daves_dimension on Instagram. Feel free to message me at those, whether you want to talk about TV shows or anything. So
And trust me,
we can
Dave does
definitely
a
do
really
that.
good job. He does a kick-ass job. That's how we being that
Sweet.
I'm a friend and I'm a friend of his. I'm his brother. I'm gonna tell you, the content is good. You
I'm
guys
also a
just
messy person. Can you see that?
oh, we're not even gonna talk about. You guys can see it here. I was going through figures today, so I want to say thank you guys because this was a pet project of ours, and it was a start of a mini series. We do have more mini series planned. Um, the current one that's coming up, obviously, and we're doing it early, so I don't want to hear anybody talk to me about this in a negative way, because I will shut you down. Dave will shut you down, and Dave's a lot nicer than I am about it. We are doing Hispanic heritage movies, but I've broken it into 4 genres of film. We're going to start, if I'm not mistaken, we start with animated. We continue with horror. We then go to,
What did you call me? Oh,
you heard what I said. We go to classics, and then we go to modern comedies. I've we're doing. I reached out to Dave to say let's do something for Hispanic Heritage Month. We're gonna end early and start early. Hispanic Heritage doesn't start till September 13th. That's the day we don't film, and we are consistent. So we wanted to stay consistent with the show. So expect next week to start off our mini series with the animated films. One of those films, I'm not going to tell you what it is now. Many people don't agree with it, and it's got a lot of tension online. But if you pick a fight with me on it, you'll definitely lose, because it's one of my favorite movies. It's crept into my top 5 movies of all time.
okay. So how many people want me to start a fight with them next week? Raise their hand.
I know you won't. Not Hispanic heritage. Not that would be the worst time to pick a fight with it. Pick a fight with your Puerto Rican brother on Hispanic heritage. Start of a miniseries. Let's do it.
Well, I'm I know it's Hispanic heritage, but I have a question for people. Why is it like you see like Celtic festivals, but they're mostly it's like 95% Scottish? Where's the Irish love? I'm just saying.
Where's the Celtic?
As
The
as
actual Druidic stuff too. Like there is
well,
they're a culture.
well, like my wife loves us to go to like the Celtic festival, and like it's like, oh, you can see Celtic heritage, you can get to see what the tartans are for certain clans, but there's no Irish love there. It's like, hell, I found more information at the Erie County Fair one year about my surname and my family's heritage than I do at an actual Celtic festival. So I'm just saying that it's just like some
Show
things
some
just
love,
don't
man.
make
They got
sense.
to. They got to.
Speaking of
fair.
love, we all know that the left coast is the best coast. Hey Rick, what's going on? Pick a fight with John Cena.
Exactly.
You
You
know it.
can't see me. So like I said, it's gonna be. We're doing a mini series for Hispanic Heritage, and then right when
Yes, sir.
we finish that mini series,
I gotta start watching.
we're gonna be. I gotta start putting some of those movies in the thing if you don't have them. And I will tell you guys now, we're gonna end right going into October, and that's gonna
What's
lead.
up, Ricardo?
Hey, Ricardo, and that's gonna lead us right into our films for Halloween.
Yes.
So Dave and I have worked on our Halloween lists. I think they look freaking fire. I'm excited, and I cannot wait for the Halloween stuff to come out. And then we're gonna move into the holidays, and then into now we are gonna have 2 holidays off. I will let you guys know now. We may record something. Dave and I talked about it.
Yep.
We may record something
We can
and put
record
it up.
and we can set it to stream on Wednesday so you guys can still see content. By the way, speaking of holidays, I saw a rumor today. I haven't confirmed it yet. You know how Disney's on the live action kick right now?
Yes.
Possible rumor. I don't know how true this is, but I'm going to be doing research on it. Nightmare Before Christmas live action.
I hope to God not.
With Johnny Depp.
Nope. I don't want it.
Now
that is by far one of my favorite cartoon movies of all time.
Oh, who are you talking to, man? I mean, come on. But personally, you know who I'd rather see play, Jack?
Who?
You're a trucker just like me. Did
Spock?
you ever watch Discovery?
Yes.
Saru.
Oh, Saru, yeah, he would be better. He
was Abe Sapien in Hellboy.
Oh yeah, he'd be perfect.
So he'd be perfect, you know. And he
has the way he walks is Saru with that, like, you know, he'd do Jack Skellington perfect. Yeah. Okay, that I can agree if you had to, but I don't want a live action of that. I mean, the Snow White film is what's getting the current hate right now. So don't expect that film to ever see the light of day. I'm gonna tell you that right now. If that film does, it's gonna be hated on by the critics for several reasons.
Why? Who are they looking to play Snow White?
No, the girl that's playing Rachel Zegler, she's a feminist who does not, and Gal Gadot's I think Gal Gadot's playing the Wicked Witch, and
she can be wicked anytime.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! But the thing is, they both were in an interview and
what's up, Ricardo?
That they did not want there to be the prince to save Snow White. They were gonna there's a prince casted, but they're gonna like kind of move the role of the prince almost out of the film. And I was like, no, because if you base it off of the original story, the prince's kiss wakes her up. And they're like, well, Snow White's a woman that doesn't need that, and the dwarves even acknowledge that. Blah 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 blah. I was like, wow.
What about a princess?
Well, again, there's the talk is that this movie.
I mean, if you can do race swaps, and I mean gender swaps should be there, and there's plenty of arguments that there have been, gay characters before.
Code Guys, I think that's kind of where they're going. Is that the prince character will be like almost like Frozen and in Maleficent, where the character's there and they just are there in namesake, and that's all they are there for. It's not like Snow White and the Huntsman, or any other of the films where like the character,
had someone who was like a Prince of the Woods, but they're not actual royalty. I mean, like,
yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna remake, throw make it a little bit different. Don't just. My thing is, it feels like Disney's just doing live action stuff just to do it. It's just so they can, make some money, and they know that there's going to be controversy no matter what they do, because you know what, just like with work, just like within life, you guys know what I'm going to say. You can't make everybody happy. No way,
nope.
No how. No way. Someone's always going to be butthurt. Whether it's a YouTuber, someone on Instagram, some social content creators, we ain't going to say no names. Someone always gets butthurt if they don't get their ways. But I'm just saying, no one's going to be happy. It's just like, hey, I can make an action movie. Someone's not going to like it.
That Ghost is 100% right.
Snow White is is based on German folklore from hundreds of years before Disney. Haters are just stupid and ignorant. Yes, they are.
And we'll see what happens. Like I said, the movie right now is
they got to have money, because you know what, Disney parks, they are losing tons of money right now. I mean, they brought back Iger, and he's got double the time. They're talking about pulling back on making movies, not just movies, but like Marvel content and everything else. They're talking about pulling everything back because they're losing out on money. But that's everywhere. No matter where you go, all these companies are losing. Look how much friggin' money DC's friggin' losing right now. We're not even going to get into that.
Even
and
though
I'm not just talking about the movie or the entertainment side. I'm talking about the comic book industry itself.
Well, there's a different thing, but I will state this. For those of you that did not know, this past Sunday was National Cinema Day, where it was $4 movie tickets. Every theater across the United States did this
AMC,
promotion.
Regal,
AMC,
everywhere.
Regal, Stone Theaters, local movie theaters all got on board with this. And the number one movie that people went to see,
Dre went to go see Barbie. We know.
Was Blue Beetle. And Blue Beetle has, like, critics blew it out the water. My wife and my kids were laughing at parts. If you are Hispanic, you'll appreciate the jokes. El Chapulín, I love that. But I appreciate the characters, the abuelita. And if you're not Hispanic, you'll still love the damn movie because it's a damn good movie. It's solid.
See, that's what I need to hear.
So,
because I'm sorry, I'm pigment impaired. Sorry.
I know you are, and I love you for you. I love you for you.
I'm a honky. What can I say?
But like I said, when I told you, even if you're not Hispanic and you go see this movie, you can appreciate the superhero aspect of it. And it's just done so well. Like, everything was done right. It was the perfect entrance into Gunn's new universe.
Well, I'll be watching some movies tonight, so
I gave it to you. So wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But we did make a promise to Nerd Affiliated, and I've been holding true to it. I will not talk about, like, movies on this channel or my personal channel, and Dave's done it too. We're honoring that because of SAG-AFTRA and all the other stuff. So we are not.
I'm going to talk about it on someone else's channel.
Yeah, if anybody wants me to go on their channel and talk about it, I will gladly vomit my whole ideas on it.
It looked like Rick also commented the actress said some silly sexist stuff, and now she is not allowed to talk. LOL. She's just a kid.
Yeah,
so
Rachel
like
Zegler is
Ezra Miller Part 2.
This is more like Tom Holland talking about the Spider-Man movies when he wasn't supposed to, and then he had to get the NDA from Disney. He
never said anything like he would blurt unwittingly blurt.
This was more like Ezra Miller. Disney's on damage control because she got into some deep shit. And
why are they on damage control? Because they had some emotional damage.
So yeah. So ESPN, yeah. So let's end this here. So tune in next week. Now, just like Dave and I said, we posted it on social media. So if you guys follow us on IG at the Outer Dimensions podcast, it's at 7:00 now. If you guys cannot tune in, Eastern time, it's 7:00 Eastern Standard Time. Dave and I are both on the East Coast. If you miss it, we team replay. Dave and I, we all know you guys have lives. 7:00
is the first coast.
It's the best coast, baby. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch base with you guys, give you guys a heads up that 7:00 till a little after 8. We ran long today because of the amount of content we were covering.
How many movies we were talking about today?
Exactly. So we usually end around 8:15, 8:30. So it's a rarity that we're going to go this long. But we thank you guys for coming. Tune in for our Hispanic Heritage start next week, and we'll be riding that for most of the month of September. And then we will begin the month of October with our Halloween tribute. And that's all Halloween films, not Halloween inspired. It's just scary films, and there are different genres of scary films.
And who knows? Maybe we'll be sneaking insert the movie about Wolfman Has Nards. I don't know.
Oh, that's the last one of the month. But we also do have a little bit of a secret, the specialty that on November the 4th, Dave and I will be doing a specialty episode about our podcast, streamed from NC Comic Con in Durham. So I will be attending. They are inviting me and my wife there to do a panel. And then I chose to do another panel, and it's about podcasting. And the guy loves it. And he is like a movie buff and has seen me do other panels years ago at the same time. So Dave and I are in the process of figuring out how we're going to do not only the content for that panel, but we're going to do something
where I'll be home here.
Yeah, he'll be in New York. And I will be in Durham.
Yeah, he'll be having fun at a con while I'm, guy in the chair, but I love being the guy in the chair, so it's all good.
Hey, you never know. If you guys, if we ever do a Patreon, you guys, that we could always fund Dave to go to a convention. It's always something we could talk about. But I'm gonna say thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys. The chat again. I love you guys for just blowing up our chat. Code guys, it's great to have you in here. DeLasso, great for seeing you. Your first time guest, so welcome.
Yes, sir.
You know, I love everybody that's all our regulars that come through here. Duffman, our boy Captain Spaulding, our boy Left Coast. We had Sleeping Collectibles pop in.
Sal, Archer,
Sal, Archer.
Sleeps,
you guys are
Blue
amazing.
Sasquatch.
Blue
Everyone,
Sasquatch, yeah.
Rolando for throwing up links.
So again,
Volcano, the Power Rangers, official Power Ranger who came through early in the morning. Thank you for stopping through.
I will say this: there is nothing going on right now for my personal show because I'm taking a bit of a break to try to get ready for work and enjoy some time off. I do have stuff going on Monday. I will be doing a member spotlight with EC Collecting. So if you guys want to come on Monday and check that out on my personal channel, which is the Collector Safe Space, come check us out. We're going to have Colin on there, and it's going to be kind of getting to know Colin better. He's a great brother, great supporter of the
big
channel.
NECA collector. If you're into NECA collectibles, he's got an amazing collection.
And
you guys don't want to sleep on it.
Exactly. And Dave, did you have anything going on the rest of this week?
Well, does Dave have something going on? Well, yeah, I do need to get a couple videos up and recorded for next week. I did do a test game stream last night on my channel, Dave's Dimension. We actually did a little over 1 hour stream of Turtles, Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. The new DLC drops tomorrow, the 31st.
Is it free or is it paid?
I'm trying to find that out because they don't have it available, so you can't see pricing or availability for it in PlayStation's store just yet. So I'm going to find out how much it is during the day, and if it is something that is, I don't know if it's a free DLC. If it is, we'll be doing it, and if it's not, I'm going to see if I can swing it. If I can swing the cost, then we will be doing stream tomorrow, probably around 7 or 8 o'clock. Dave's Dimension Eastern time will be going live. I know Thursdays is a real heavy night for a lot of people, but regardless, we're going to be doing a stream featuring Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. The new DLC features a lot of characters like Usagi Yojimbo and a whole bunch of others, and you go traveling through time in this new DLC. If you're a fan of any Ninja Turtle arcade games, you're gonna love Shredder's Revenge. It's a very fun button mashing game. You can have I think up to 4 or 5 people playing all at once.
6
or up to 6 at once. So yeah, you can get your whole crew together, or you can just be you yourself or you and a bud. It's good fun, very awesome game. It's available on both Xbox, PlayStation. I don't believe it's on PC, but you guys can if I get my hands on the DLC, we'll be doing that, or we'll just be playing Turtles Shredder's Revenge, so I can just finish out the story mode. We'll probably be doing that tomorrow night, but that's going to be either 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. But stay tuned to Dave's Dimension on YouTube for further details.
Oh, and I did post a video today on the Collector Safe Space. For you guys that were wondering, I'm doing a long-term series of older content videos. Several people have reached out to me. Yukon Phil is kind of the one that brought it out on his show 2 months ago, where he challenged me to bring back some of my older content so you all can see Dre with hair, skinnier Dre, bigger Dre.
That just sounds scary. Dre with hair. Oh, I mean, you have hair on the bottom of your head, just not the top of your head.
So he made me laugh about it. So I did. So far I told Dave this. I spent about the other day. I spent like 3 days editing videos and redoing everything. Shout out to Dave for actually doing my entrance video for that, and you'll be seeing that actually in the content. The first video is up today. It's going to be a 10 video series. It may go longer. I haven't decided yet. But I went through some of the best. I cherry picked some of the best content videos and things that I felt like people like what I talk about. So it's older content. It's a little bit longer. But enjoy it. There are some unboxing videos in there. There's you'll see some of my older collection stuff that I had, things I no longer have in my collection because I don't collect it. But I think
Well,
you'll enjoy it.
well, hey guys, if you work in an office, if you work in an office that allows you to have some headphones on or listening to a podcast, you can always open up a tab on either on your phone, put a little earbud in your head, and you could always listen to Dre's videos while you're at work.
And the same for Dave's too. You know, it's we are on a quest. We don't monetization is not something Dave and I really care about, but it is something that benefits the both of us because
It
we
would
are
help out our families.
yes, anything that can help out our families because he's got cats to feed and a wife to feed. I have kids and a wife to feed, so it doesn't hurt having a
I
little
also have
extra.
a proton pack to build.
I have a helmet to build. Shout out to a project that Dave and I are working on outside of this. If y'all don't know, Dave and I do a lot of fun stuff. We plan a lot. We talk every day, so don't even worry about what we do talk about.
I don't know if you guys can see it. I kind of have a proton pack right there, but I've also built a few proton packs, and I got a special project in the mix.
We definitely have something fun coming down the pipe together, as well as him on his own doing his own thing with his project. But me and him have a collaborative project we're working on for cosplay that's going to be fun. So beyond that, just enjoy us. See us next week at 7:00. And Dave always tells me to say my line, so I'm going to say my line. Watch your head on the way out of the portal, and we'll see you on the flip side.